I was talking to a friend about reverbs the other day, and it brought back a lot of old memories and thinking about one of the most, I believe, to be one of the most effective signal processors we've ever had as a tool to our mix. Um, my dad made guitars, and the first amplifier I got was a Fender Super Reverb, and I always remember plugging the guitar in and playing. And when I added that reverb on, oh, I loved it. It just made everything sound bigger. I think it's and wider. That's the whole thing behind it all. I think we're trying to create or recreate a space that we have something in, and we're trying to broaden it. Um, Depending on the quality of reverb, and sort of at that time it was spring reverbs, and quality has increased dramatically on what's available to us today. But it's a tool that can be easily overused. A little too much of it or the wrong settings of it, it's easily detected by someone who's saying something's not right here. It's just the brain's not accepting what I'm seeing and hearing. So we tend to shy away from these effects. There is a thin line where it all kind of comes together and all works well together. This takes time and practice in working with this. But if we keep that in mind, that we're trying to broaden the space that we're listening in, the higher dimension, so to speak, wider dimension, it seems very effective if it's used properly. Now, depending on the channel, we could, if you did your reverb sends off of aux sends on your console and go individual instruments to the reverb unit, we have added reverb to the stereo mix to try to once again expand the width of what we're hearing. To me, when it's all around me, that's a feeling I love. I just love to hear music coming at me from all different directions. We'll talk about that in some other videos of Pink Floyd and working with David Bowie, also in surround sound. But for this one here now, just reverbs, and it's a very useful tool. I mean, for it to really enhance your music, it costs a lot of money. The amount of processing that goes on that makes a result of a very smooth sounding reverb is quite expensive. So if it's in your arsenal, use it. Or try using it. Now, sometimes we say the music dictates that. I remember when digital reverbs first came out, and they had like 900 settings you could pick from, and go, wow, by the time I figure all of that out, the tour will be over with. So why don't I take program one in most cases, and it's going to apply to many reverb units. Program number one seemingly just has the best all-around algorithms. It just sounds good. It works fine, generally called concert hall in many cases. Well, I would take that and I make 3 user presets. And all I would do is change the decay time, the reverb time, and I would have short, medium, long. So on short, I generally choose from 1.2 to 1.8, somewhere in that area. Just set the reverb to the number 1 user program. Number 2 user program would be medium. So I generally think maybe 1.8, 2.2 would be a good medium length for the reverb. And then 3 would be a long. I would generally go 2.8, maybe 3.1 maximum. That's seconds, and that's approaching cathedral at 3.1, as I've heard it called many times. But that effect, once you have the 3 of them programmed into your user sets, what I would do is just look at my cue cards, and I know that the next song is a ballad. And in my opinion, ballads favor reverb. Just the right amount. The right amount. Now, whether you use it individually by channel or whether you did it over the overall mix, I just hit number 3 for that ballad. When I know that the next song has more high energy, rock, and the drums are really laying into it, I'm going to go to short. And I'm set. There's no other knobs to tweak. You know, the less knobs I can tweak during a performance, the better off I am. Keep my hands on the faders. And that's the way I would do my reverbs. Very simple and straightforward. But anybody that's heard me mix before knows that I do like reverb. Uh, but I've been fortunate to have some of the highest quality ones out there to use on the road. Now, if you get into a situation and you don't have the budget for that, you can still work with the sound of your reverbs. And I'm talking about the return that goes back into your mix. That return is balanced by EQ very well. Again, we want basically an equal amplitude response, but we're going to want high and low pass filters on it. And low pass, probably maybe up at 100 cycles, 120 cycles, and on the high end, maybe 8K. So we're shaping the reverb, but we're trying to keep everything in the middle of that frequency response, similar to the source of material that I'm coming in, so that they match. And when they match, they are easier to blend together, where the reverb isn't quite as standoutish. That's a word I just made up, standoutish, as would be on the other way around. So try that. Try reverb in your mix. It adds life, it adds sparkle, it adds dimension. But you need to be careful with it. It's so easy to go just a little bit overboard. But we'll talk about some more of those situations and where these things come in handy. I want to also talk soon about stereo versus mono and surround sound and now immersive sound. So we'll be doing that in some upcoming videos. Thank you very much.